Welcome to my channel where we discuss everything and all things politics, especially about the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria. But in this video, we're going to talk about the Students' Loan Act or the student loan bill that has become an act of parliament following the signing of this act by President Bola Tinubu, and to show that it appears, like they say in local parlance, that those who are hailing the bill, including the members of the National Association of Nigerian Students that went to see Tinubu at the ASUU Rock to hail him, that they have indeed been scammed. As they say in local parlance on the streets of Nigeria, that somebody has been scammed. Because in the accompanying statement following the signing of this act, by signing of this bill by Tinubu, he said it was to break the cycle of poverty, so that no Nigerian will have any excuse for not going to higher institution. But like everything that's associated with APC in recent time, Nigerians will soon realize that they have been scammed. And that is what this video is all about, so that people will get the record straight. And before I go into the nitty-gritty of this bill, first of all, if you are in doubt that Nigerians have been scammed, it is to note that by the law, by the Constitution of Nigeria, there is nothing like school fees. Now you are making a law to give loan for school fees or tuition fees. There is nothing like tuition fee in Nigerian public institutions by the Constitution of the country. Now, first of all, let us look at how a major stakeholder has described this development, and you will now realize that it's a scam. Then before we now move into the conditionalities for even any student to access this loan, you will now find out that the so-called poor, that it was poor students it was meant for, will not even have access to it, going by the conditionalities that is embedded in this law. Okay, because this law is not entirely a new law. You'll soon find out it's not entirely a new law. Because if you go online, maybe I will put a link to the 2019 version of it. It was still by this same Bajabi Amila who sponsored it. You will now know you'll be able to go and look at some of the conditionalities about accessing this loan. So that is it. But let us now go to the nitty-gritty of this issue we are talking about. But before I do that, if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. Now, the Academic Staff Union of Universities has said that the student loan bill, which President Bola Tinubu signed into law, is capable of sending many students out of school. And you know that on Monday, the president signed the bill into law, saying it is in fulfillment of one of his campaign promises, which many held him. And as I told you, even the leadership of National Association of Nigerian Students went to the villa to hail him and all that. Perhaps they don't understand the content of this bill, because if they do, some of the things they were asking for, they couldn't even have been asking for it. because you read where the students were saying that they don't want ASUU to be part of those who approve the bill before approve the loan before any students assesses, and they don't want lawyers, MBA people to be part of it. You know, things that doesn't make sense. But the real thing is that they will soon realize that they have been scammed. So let's go. Now, the uh, the president the president of uh, national president of ASUU, Academic Staff Union of Nigerian Universities, Professor Emmanuel Osadeke, told Daily Trust that the law will have adverse effects on millions of prospective students who rely on tuition-free higher institutions of learning to acquire knowledge. Of course, many people are not aware that Nigerian public institutions are tuition-free. Okay, tuition fee. I remember when we were in the university in those days, we are paying accommodation fee of 90 naira or something like that, and you can know that there's no way, if it is not, you are not enjoying federal government subsidy and all that, that you can have that kind of charges. Because even if you look at, that was why somebody presented a bill the other time saying that doctors should work in Nigeria sometime before they go abroad. Because in reality, Nigerian medical institutions are literally free. They are tuition free, unlike medical institutions in the United States, in UK, and elsewhere. Okay, so that is a fact. Now let us listen to what the ASUU president said about this loan. He said, I'm quoting him now, a country where more than 133 million are living below the poverty line, and you want to introduce tuition fees. I told you, this loan will herald, this law, this loan act will herald the introduction of school fees, because right now there is no school fees. Let's go. It will be counterproductive, he said. He said every Nigerian should know what is going to happen next, and there may likely be another bill waiting for signature that will introduce school fees. So this act is likely to generate a new bill that will introduce school fees. And when we go further, you will see that federal government have been making spirited efforts to introduce school fees, but it has been resisted by even us and some other people. So let's go. He said, if the bill indicated that the loan is to pay tuition fees, and there are no tuition fees, in Nigerian universities, then what is your next approach? He said the bill is not new. Are you getting it? It's not new. The one I will put under this video, you see the link I will put under this video. Go and look at it. It is titled 2019. Now it's titled 2023. 2023 it was signed as a bill of 2023. But when I saw you see the bill when it was introduced, when it was produced for 2019. Okay, so when he said that the bill is not new, the link I will put to you now, I will tell you that it is not. Indeed, it's not new. I'll put the link for you down this video. He said the bill is not new, revealing how the union rejected it when former President Muhammadu Buhari administration brought it up. So Buhari has brought this thing up before. ASUU rejected it. Now let's continue. He said, we have said long ago in 2017 to President Buhari, when they came up with the issue of tuition fees, that every student will pay 1 million. So Buhari has already mooted the idea that every student in Nigeria federal institution should pay 1 million naira as school fees. And we said you cannot put that in our agreement, and you cannot use that to negotiate with us. So there was a time, I saw always having problem with federal government and all that. So in the course of their negotiation, and as one of the things he's fighting for is for improvement of infrastructure and learning equipment to be available in universities. And the federal government was telling them obviously that for we to be able to provide all these things for us, for you, we have to introduce school fees that every student should pay 1 million naira. As you say, they rejected it. They didn't want it to be part of the agreement so that they would be blamed for the introduction of school fees. Okay? And we said, you cannot put that in our agreement, and you cannot use that to negotiate with us. And with the nature of things that of the nature of the country we have today, there is no way that will work. Yes, it is difficult for you to say that every student in public institution should pay school fees of 1 million. It won't work. He said what will happen is that the majority of students whose parents cannot afford it will be pulled out of school in anger. And you know what that means. They will fight the society back. Now, that is it. You can see that that law, Student Loan Act, is a scam. It is going to lead for more problem. It is going to lead even for far more poor people to not have access to tertiary education in public institutions in Nigeria. And that would be sad. Now, a professor, now to confirm to you that Nigerian universities do not charge school fees, it's tuition free. Okay? So the law that Tinubu signed about something that doesn't exist. But obviously, from what ASUU is saying, that thing will soon exist because school fees will start to exist. Because after signing this loan act, there's likely to be a new law that will introduce school fees. That's what they are saying. Now, a professor at University of Abuja, Ben Uguke, said, going by the provisions of the Constitution, no public institution charges fees. Okay? No public institution charges tuition fee in Nigeria. So what it means is that all public higher institutions in Nigeria are tuition free. Okay? And he's basing it that it is in the law of the country, in the constitution. So you have to amend the constitution to introduce school fees. Now, what some people consider as tuition fees are not tuition fees. So he explained what it is here. He said, however, due to underfunding, the governing councils or boards of these public institutions are permitted by laws establishing the institutions to determine appropriate charges and levies that students should pay to cover specific costs. So you can see that by law, no public institution in Nigeria is paying tuition fee. But because Tinubu has signed this student loan bill into a law or an act of parliament, there's going to be school fees introduction. And ASUU has already told you that Buhari himself mooted the idea of every student paying 1 million naira as tuition fee. Okay, and they tell you the consequences of that, societal consequences. It will lead to a lot of people pulled out of schools. And they claim by Tinubu that he want to use this thing to break the cycle of poverty in families, and that to show that no Nigeria can give excuse again that that is because of money that he could not go to school. Nobody will say that again. But it is the reverse of what he said that will happen from what ASUU has told us here. Now, this Students' Loan Access to Higher Education Bill 2019, which is no different from what I have seen, what I have heard, it's no different from what we have in 2023, because it's still the handwork of Femi Gbajabiamila. You know, Femi Gbajabiamila, perhaps Buhari and ASUU, Buhari did not sign it because ASUU protested, okay? But now, because of his vintage position as chief of staff, it was easier for him to convince ASUU, the president, to sign it this time around. Now, let us look at some of the conditionalities that was given for this, for any student to access this loan. But first of all, the bill or the law stipulate that they will establish a kind of education loan bank, which will be in charge of giving out this loan. Now, look at what he said on 18.1. He said, students applying for loan under this act must apply to the chairman of the bank through their respective institutions upon satisfaction of the following conditions. Applicants must have secured admission into any of the Nigerian universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, or any vocational school established by the federal government or government of any state of the federation. Now, let us go down to the other conditionalities that should interest anybody. It's an applicant income or family income must be less than 500,000 naira. So those applying, they must bring proof that their family income is less than 500,000 naira, or their own personal income is less than 500,000 naira. Applicants must provide at least two sureties. Or guarantors. Must provide two guarantors. Now, for a loan that's supposed to help the poorest of the poor access education, he said each of the guarantors must be a civil servant of not less than 12 years in the service. So how many people who are really poor in Nigeria, in the context of what they are trying to project, will have people to come and guarantee them that they should have access to this loan? Because this, being a guarantor, comes with a consequence, which you are going to see. That's why people are likely to be guarantor for only their children. They can't be guarantor for those, the poorest of the poor, whose parents does not even have access to top civil servants that could sign for them. Or a lawyer with at least 10 years post-call experience. Now, this condition did not tell us whether the lawyer is going to be paid for his services to come and stand as a guarantor, or a judicial officer, or a justice of peace. Because if really government is sincere, it wants the poor student who has nobody to help him access education, but except his own determination. What they ought to have done is that they will tell the student who is interested to open a bank account. Bank account that you open is going to give you your, you have to have your NIN, okay, your national identity number. You have to have your BVN and all these things, so that even when you graduated from the university, they can use it to track you. You can't escape it with your BVN and NIN and everything known about you. But for you to now say that they go and bring guarantor, who will be liable if they didn't pay. To me, it shows you how insincere they are, or how thoughtless, or how unthoughtful those who couple this bill together were at the time they did it. Because it ought to be the responsibility of the student. Take away his parents, take away any guarantor. Himself, he is the beneficiary. He is the person that after studying, he will pay for the loan. Then why don't you tie him down with his BVN, with his NIN, which he cannot escape, no matter wherever he is in Nigeria? But that's not, they are bringing guarantors that will now be scared to sign for anybody, which is what will happen in this kind of situation. Now, he said that a student is disqualified from accessing the loan if A, he is proven to have defaulted in respect of any previous loan granted by any organization. B, he has been found guilty of exam malpractice by any school authority. C, he is convicted of a felony or any offense involving dishonesty or fraud. D, he has been convicted of drug offenses. E, any of the parents has defaulted in respect of student's loan or any loan granted to him or her. Now you are linking a child to the faults of his parents. So if his father had taken a loan from bank before and he didn't pay, because of it, he cannot access the loan. If his mother has taken a loan before and she could not pay, therefore this child will be denied education. That's unfair. Like I said, if they are sincere, the student himself, his national identity number, his BVN will be enough, because these numbers are not going to change forever. That is what, even after schooling, that is the number he will use to access his financial resources as a worker, as everything, so that he cannot escape from paying for his loan. Now, a student whose parent had defaulted in a loan before will not be able to access it. And you say that this is fair. This is this is total scam. Because if it is for the student should be able to have access to the loan, and he will bear responsibility for paying it. And there, as I told you, the BVN, the NIN will be enough to track anybody who lives in Nigeria after graduation, so that the person cannot escape from paying back the loan that was granted him by the federal government or by the education loan bank. Now, this is where I get interested, where you know that this thing is not meant to help the poor. They say each application must be accompanied by a copy of student's admission letter, okay? A letter by the guarantors addressed to the chairman, governing board of the bank, recommending the student for the loan and stating he accepts liability in the event of default. Now, this is a loan like obtainable in America and elsewhere, where you are as a student, you assess it, you start paying it when you start working. Now, if you start working, you defaulted, your guarantor will be held accountable, will be held for the default. And you think that anybody will want to come and be a guarantor for any student, except it's their children. It's unnecessary. It just shows you that they are insincere. Now, going forward, they say each guarantor must submit 2 passport photographs, name of employer, and evidence of being so employed by the named organization. I can tell you for free, one of the things that is difficult for you to get in Nigeria is to get guarantors. It is because of experiences people have passed through. And now you are trying to make education accessible to the poor, the indigenous student, and you are bringing in guarantors. Since the thing has to do with student loan, and from what we have read and heard, in the United States, there are people who have been paying for their loan. Even Obama, I don't know whether he finished paying his own student loan before he became president. People keep on paying this thing for years, and there are process of tracking the students, and they can't escape. It's inescapable. You can't escape. So it's not something you need a guarantor. If government is sincere that it wants poor students to have access to this facility. Now you say, where the guarantor is self-employed, he must provide particulars of his business as registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission or any other appropriate authority, and his bankers. This will push people away from being guarantor for anyone, except the person is their child. And as I said, if they are sincere, you don't need a guarantor. The student is his own guarantor. Since when he's working, he must operate a bank. And through that, he can't escape being made to pay for the loan he was granted. But in any case, you can see the whole thing, it just appears like a scam. The students who are hailing it, who have gone to the villa to hail it, they don't know that they have been scammed. But at least a major stakeholder like ASUU, from what ASUU ASUU president said, told Daily Trust, you can see that it's obvious that the bill was signed into law in anticipation of another bill that will introduce school fees. And already, ASUU said that federal government under Buhari was planning to pay the school fees at 1 million naira per student, and ASUU rejected it. So that is what it is. So before you begin to hail ASUU that he has done so wonderfully by signing that bill, better understand what it's all about. Better listen to what the president of ASUU is talking about. Perhaps you now realize that you may have been scammed. The country may have been scammed, like so many other things that concerns APC administration, where they tell you one thing, it's another thing that you get in return. That's why Nigerians should be vigilant whenever it appears they are doing you a favor. Better watch it. Better find details of what they are promising, whether it's really in your interest or in their own interest. Thank you for watching this video. And if you are new to my channel, you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the subscription button, hit the notification bell. When you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell, anytime I have a new video, you'll be among the first to know. God bless you. And please don't forget to like this video, because when you like it, God will rank it high and recommend it for more people. Thank you, and God bless you and yours.